This story is about those four friends with whom such an incident happened that their whole life changed. Let's know what happened. Priya Sharma, a resident of Mumbai city, made a plan to go to Shimla with her friends Ravi, Sahil, and Vijay. They all sat in the bus to go to Shimla. Priya fell asleep in a short while. Suddenly, Priya woke up and saw that there was no one in the bus. There was no driver of the bus either. The bus was moving on its own. All her friends were also not in the bus. Seeing all this, Priya started screaming loudly out of fear. Suddenly, she felt that someone was standing behind her. When she looked back, a woman was sitting there. The woman's face was burnt. It seemed as if someone had thrown acid on her face. Seeing such a horrific face, Priya started screaming, "Save me! Save me! Save me!" And suddenly Priya's sleep went away. She was completely scared and was completely drenched in sweat. Vijay, who was sitting nearby, gave him a water bottle and said, "Maybe you had a dream." In a short while, everyone reached Shimla and went to a hotel to spend the night. The next day, they all decided to go for a walk on the mountain near the hotel. In about half an hour, they all reached the highest peak of the mountain. From there, when they looked down, the dense lilicam trees and plants looked very beautiful. Suddenly, Sahil was surprised and said, "Look down. Someone is standing. It seems to be a woman." Vijay and Ravi also started looking, but they could not see anyone, and said, "Have you gone mad? How can a woman come in this dense forest? You must have some illusion." After that, they all went to the open place. It was about to be night, so they all decided to stay on the mountain itself. So they all set up the tent there and took out the food items. Priya's bag was outside the tent, so she went out to get it. Then she heard someone's voice. When Priya turned her eyes towards that voice, she saw three men coming from the front. On seeing the sharp weapon in their hands, Priya got scared and ran inside the tent. She told this to her friends also, but no one was believing her. Priya shouted, "Have you all gone mad? No one is believing my words. Come with me outside, I will tell you." They all came out and started looking down from the peak of the peak. Suddenly, they all feel that three people are coming towards them. Seeing all this, they all get scared and immediately start collecting their things, and they hide behind a big stone. In a short while, they all come up. Priya sees that their hands, legs, and head were not like those of a common man. They all sit at one place and start some tantric practice. One of the men cuts the finger of his hand, but due to darkness, they could not see anything properly. Suddenly, all four of them saw that a woman came and lay down in between those men. No one knows how that woman reached there. Priya said, "I am not able to understand what is happening. I am feeling very scared." One by one, all three of them started sniffing that woman. Suddenly, that woman raised her finger and started pointing towards us. We all got scared. Those three left that woman and started moving towards us. We all started running down the hill towards the hotel. Hearing our voice, those three started running towards us. Priya and Sahil were in the front, and Vijay and Ravi were running behind them. Priya and Sahil reached the hotel, but there was no trace of Ravi and Vijay. When we asked the hotel staff about them, they said, "No one goes to that mountain. That mountain is dangerous. Whoever goes there never comes back. You are lucky that you are still alive." But our friends Ravi and Vijay never returned. We tried a lot to find them, even filed a police complaint, but it made no difference. It was the month of September. It was a dark night. Slowly, cold waves of wind were coming. Lightning was flashing in the sky. Mahendra uncle was sleeping on his cot in his field away from his home. His field was near the village pond. Due to rain, the entire pond was filled, and the field had also grown more grass. Due to that, it all seemed more scary in the darkness. There were 6, 7 big mango trees on the banks of that pond. The sound of the branches of the mango trees also seemed quite scary. Suddenly, the buffaloes tied in the field started screaming. Mahendra uncle could not understand why these buffaloes were doing this. He thought that perhaps these buffaloes were doing this due to cold. That is why he lit a chimney in Mahendra uncle's field. In the light of that chimney, Mahendra uncle's eyes fell on his cot. He saw that a woman was sitting on his cot. Seeing this, his body started trembling with fear. At the same time, there was a strong lightning strike in the sky. Although Mahendra uncle was brave, but today he was also feeling a little scared. At that time, Uncle put dry grass in the fire and increased the fire more, due to which the woman was clearly visible. Mahendra Uncle, while sitting and warming himself, shouted, "Who is it?" But there was no response from the other side. That is why Uncle was surprised. He understood something new. Uncle stood up. That is why Mahendra Uncle thought that now nothing will happen by being afraid. I will have to act with courage, because the one who is afraid is considered dead. Uncle took a big stick in his hand and said, "Who are you? Do you think that I am afraid of you?" But the truth was that Uncle was completely trembling with fear from inside. Seeing this angry face of Uncle, the woman stood up and said loudly, "Aren't you afraid of me?" Uncle gathered courage and said, "Go away from here, or else I will break your head with the stick." As soon as he said this, Mahendra Uncle picked up the stick, and at the same time the woman raised her voice. "Now you will throw me out of my own house? I have spent my childhood here. This is my house. I have been living here for years." On hearing this, both Uncle's fear and anger subsided. He felt that he knew the woman standing in front of him. Her voice also sounded familiar. Uncle started thinking, who is this woman? If I know this woman, then why is she in such a terrifying and monstrous form? Suddenly, hey, this is Jyoti, my elder sister. In childhood, Jyoti and I used to work together in the fields cutting grass. Now Mahendra Uncle understood the whole thing. This is about Jyoti's childhood. When Jyoti was 14 years old, she was playing with some children of the village in this field. Like other children, Jyoti was also climbing the tree and jumping from one branch to another.